This is Zero Fiat's Vertcoin Update, Episode 4, April 1st, 2014.
Well, it's about time you got here.
Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. Are you listening to me?
Oh, it's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Today, there is a lack of confidence in our financial system.
But we're not going to solve it with business as usual.
There is no try.
The current price of Vertcoin is 2.61 millibits, down from 3.1, with a market cap of $3,674,363. Current price of Bitcoin is 45.5 cents per millibit, making the US dollar price of Vertcoin $1.19. Hello and welcome. This is Zero Fiat's Vertcoin update for April 1st, 2014. Regardless of the date, I assure you I am not going to be pulling any April Fool's Day pranks. I think I've had enough of them pulled on me today. What I'm talking about is earlier today, while I was recording this podcast, my microphone decided to start acting up on me. Not really the microphone, more the sound server in my operating system. For those of you familiar with Linux, the ALSA server ended up going down on me. I really have no clue what was happening. Something cached and lagged a little bit, but I just noticed that when I went back to review the track that everything was all garbled and robotic sounding. So I decided to check the settings, reconnect everything. Next thing I know, my headphones went down. Everything ended up going down. I spent about 20 minutes trying to fix it, and I finally just said, you know what? I've got everything backed up, including my Qt wallet. So I pulled out my handy dandy thumb drive, reinstalled my operating system. The only issue I'm having right now is some missing library that won't allow the Vertcoin Qt wallet to load, but I'm sure I'll have that up and running in no time after the show. You know, we have these kind of issues with Linux. It's really no big deal. I understand it's not really an operating system that's for the faint of heart sometimes, but while I guess this could be considered bad for some people, I don't know. I've just had far less problems with Linux in my life than I've ever had with Windows. It's always been problematic for me. Anyway, on this week's show, a look at exchanges, the Vertcoin market, some updates from the developers' wallet news, and more. Stay tuned. So, in light of some of the technical issues that went down today, and having to migrate a few things over, I debated what to do about the podcast. And since deadlines are deadlines, and I'm really under no contractual obligations to do them, no sponsors to appease, I thought I'd keep it a little briefer with just some quick looks and thoughts of what are going on in Vertcoin space. I apologize, and I promise that I'll get things back to rolling in no time. Earlier this week, Prelude, the exchange by Moolah, started US dollar to crypto pairing. I jumped through the initial hoops to get my account verified and sold some Vertcoin for US dollar just to see how it worked. As of now, I put in a lower buy bid, but hasn't actually been picked up. You know, the volume just really isn't there just yet to keep that market active enough. Overall, I think they've created an attractive and easy-to-use exchange, and I'm looking forward to seeing it gain some volume. I'm doing a small test deposit this coming week, and I'll report back to you on how that goes. I've also been in talks with Alex from Moolah about getting him here on the show for an interview sometime in the near future, we hope. Also in exchange news, Cryptsy has launched their long-awaited US dollar pair trading. Well, almost, that is. While this list is populated on the sidebar, we're still going to have to wait until they release their verification system later this week or next. Vertcoin is not on that list as of yet. However, I know it has been called for by the community. But at the moment, only 4 cryptos are listed as trading pairs. They are Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and Feathercoin? Really? Let's take a brief look at vertcoinmarket.com. As always, there's new projects popping up. Everything from a 30-second commercial to windsurfers to marathon runners. You know, if you haven't looked at the site before, it's just a great place that you can help a project that's going on within the community or even post a project idea that you may have on your own. On the 25th, last Tuesday, as this podcast was being brought to you, over on vertcoinmarket.com, the developer of Wow Doge lightweight wallet started a campaign. All that funding was reached within 3 days. Essentially, he wants to bring the lightweight wallet technology to Vertcoin, and this is really great. One of the conversations I've had with one of the developers recently was that as the coin grows and as the blockchain grows itself, that it really becomes encumbered by the fact that you've got to download this entire blockchain in order to have a usable wallet. Well, this eliminates that by downloading essentially the most recent transactions first and gets you up and running really, really quick. So it's something that's going to be a real boon for the community in the fact that you're going to be able to set new people up with wallets and they're going to be able to go in just a matter of moments. There's also a couple of other features planned on being brought to it, such as being able to print out paper wallets, print paper backups of your private key, and also import those. I've heard rumors of being able to scan QR codes with a webcam. Just some really neat stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come out. I hope you are as well. And thank you very much to all the community members that have pledged Vertcoin to help make this project a reality. People have been asking questions in the various forums and making different points towards speculation of Vertcoin. And, recently my thoughts have really just come down to this. Stop focusing on the price of the moment. I'm sure that the price is going to rise to new heights in the next few months. And I think that by year's end, there's going to be a lot of happy Vertons out there. But for the time being, don't consider the price when you think about Vertcoin. It's just the wrong way to go about it. We need volume. We need vendors. And we need people that actually utilize their Vertcoin more than anything else. Speculating on a price is really fun to do, but let's look at the real world here. If everyone is just collecting VTC and not using it, there's no incentive for vendors to start accepting it, period. Look at 42 coin. At one point it was worth over $1 million per coin, and while its value is still high, it's far beyond that initial release hype. They say that there's markets coming, big things in the works, yada, yada, yada. It was a coin created specifically to be the highest priced coin. They call it a collector's coin. I would argue that there's no such thing as a collectible digital currency. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't really see 142 coin going up on the auction block at Sotheby's. Typically, collectibles are something that people put on display, either for their own enjoyment or to impress their guests. And short of a physical coin like those by Cassatius, it really just doesn't hold much appeal. Either way, whether I'm right or wrong, I'm not talking about 42 coin or any other coin that's designed to be a quote-unquote collectible. I'm talking about Vertcoin. We've got a totally different mission. It's not about being collectible. It's not about how high we can make this price go. It's, can we make this coin useful? Can it be utilized daily? Will it actually be something that functions well in people's lives and to help make their lives better? You know, whether that price goes to 10,000 or whether it's 3 cents, it really doesn't matter if there isn't an active infrastructure behind it. So who's going to do something about it? Well, take a look in the mirror, folks. Stop asking yourself who's going to do whatever. Start asking yourself what you're going to do about it. Make it Make it your monthly goal to put 10 BTC in a digital wallet and strike up conversations, whether it be at a bar or a church, your kid's daycare. Hell, use it as an excuse to hit on that hot girl down at the laundromat. Just get other people to download the new Android wallet on their smartphone and transfer a Vertcoin to each of them. Congratulations. You're now helping to diversify the base, the holders. You've made someone part of our ecosystem, and you've given them something to look into. It's also something for them to talk about with their friends. And hell, maybe you got yourself a date next Friday night. Perhaps you just made someone in the future really, really happy when that price goes beyond all of our wildest dreams. Some of you out there might be miners, and if you are and your hardware consists of multiple GPUs, the devs have asked that you consider switching over to a P2 pool to help keep the coin decentralized. As it stands at the moment, there's one or two larger pools that have over 15% of the mining, and while one of them belongs to Bushido, Vertcoin's creator, switching over to a P2 pool is a great way to keep the mining power distributed. A pool doesn't actually need to have 51% of the mining in order to have a successful attack. It's just that with 51%, an attack has a success rate of 100%. At lower numbers like 25% of the mining, that success is only in the 13% range, but it's still a possibility and something we should ever be vigilant about. One of Vertcoin's core devs, Boris, has stated that even with the current size of a few of these larger pools, there's nothing really to worry about, especially since the largest of them is in the hands of the person who wants to protect the security of the network most of all. But perhaps it's best to take a proactive approach to do what we can to make sure that an issue as such never happens. P2 pools are simple to set up, or you can even join an existing one for those of you that are not so tech savvy. They may take a little longer to start producing work, but the rewards and incentives are there, so I urge all of you currently mining with larger rigs to please take a look at P2 pools. Cryptocurrency 2014 is taking place in New York City on April 9th. Joe Fisher will be presenting a talk on Vertcoin, and with any luck, I'll get someone to smuggle audio back from it. I was looking into taking the drive over to the Big Apple just to have a look myself, but since I'm a one-man show and I've got other pressing business to take care of here on the home front, I guess I'm just going to have to wait until 2015. Well, this brings the rest of the episode to a close. Told you I was going to keep it brief, no fancy editing or spots thrown into this episode. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop me a line at illicit@gmail.com. That's ILLICIT and the letter U. You can find the show at a variety of places like my website, illicitunderground.org. As always, this podcast is brought to you by your generous donations, which you can find my tipping address in the show notes wherever you found this episode. Vertcoin is preferred, but I do accept that Bitcoin stuff too. Again, many warm welcomes to those of you listening to me on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Remember to take everything you hear on this podcast with a large grain of salt. I'm not giving investment advice, and it's always best to think for yourself. I look forward to our next installment. Until then, I bid you farewell.
Well, it's about time you got here.
Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. Are you listening to me?
Oh, it's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
Today, there is a lack of confidence in our financial system.
But we're not going to solve it with business as usual.
There is no try. There is no try.